What you see here in the front, that there is the new Tesla factory, Berlin Giga, Berlin Brandenburg, Grünheide. So, and we are here with the BMW Performance SUV. This is nuts. And actually what we can also show you on this parking lot is actually here. Look at that. Is this year the best electric performance SUV, the BMW iX M60, here on Autogefuehl with Thomas. Let's go! And by the way, we'll also have Brian later on with his take on this vehicle. Here, oxide grey is this interesting color, and the M60 doesn't look too different from the normal iX version, but it has these Titan bronze accentuations in that front double kidney or mono kidney. Yeah, you know, I always have to shave also here in the middle that I don't get the monobrow, so maybe the iX should do that as well, right? And here the headlamps, LED of course standard, optional you can get the laser lights and then the very slim daytime running light right here. The length at 4,95 meters or 195 inches, so a full-size SUV. Usually it would start with 20-inch wheels, the M60 version starts 21-inch wheels, and here the optional biggest one, 22-inch wheels, really massive, and once again the Titan bronze accentuations. In the M60 also the special badge, black contrast in the lower part, so it automatically gets the M Sport package you can also get for the normal iX, and then once again Titan bronze also here. You can, however, if you don't like that, also go for the shadow line, and then everything that would be in Titan bronze here would be just plain black for a more sinister look. Interesting that the air suspension is standard for all the iX models, and this one, the M60, also gets the rear axle steering as standard as well. And the air suspension is a little bit stiffer here for a sportier tone. And a new feature is that the rear electric motor, so it's one in the front, one in the rear, and the rear electric motor is a little bit different, even hardware-wise, tuned to that performance of 1,100 Newton meters of torque and 619 horsepower. And whereas the normal iX all-wheel drive model goes 4.6 seconds in the acceleration, 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour, this one here goes 3.8. 0.2 of that is done via the new launch control, which also has a hardware shaking function to make it even more exciting. We will experience that for you. Here the rear, the lamps really slim, and once again the Titan bronze accentuations, and also a very clean design in the lower part with some, you know, diffuser styling. And we also have more color choices for you. This one here is Aventurine red. Of course, the Titan bronze accentuations are a little bit more present than in this case. What about the range? We already had a lot of experience with the iX, with the normal all-wheel drive model. This one might have a little bit less of that range because of more performance. However, roundabout 400 kilometers or 250 miles in wintertime, and you can score some 550 kilometers or 350 miles in summertime. And one of my favorite colors for the iX is here the Storm Bay Metallic, really beautiful color, and the Titan bronze accentuations in the M60 look even cooler in this case than as a contrast, I think. What about the top speed? The xDrive 50 is limited to 200 kilometers an hour or 125 miles an hour. Here the M60 unlocked to 250 kilometers an hour or 155 miles an hour. And about recharging, 11 kilowatt AC or 195 kilowatt DC charging peak right here. Also nice covers here, that is well done, that's how we do it. And well, about the state of charge, 10 to 80%. Well, that can be done in 35 minutes in optimum case. But you have to speed it up on the motorway that the battery is warm enough, it's preheated. There's also preheating function. It is when you put a charging station in the GPS, but that then can take about up to 30 minutes that the battery is at temperature while driving. So most use cases will be you ham it on the motorway, then the battery is warm enough, and then you can go for some proper fast charging. In the other test, we also did a concise charging test, so you can check out the other video of that one later as well. And one of the favorite features, look at that. The camera cleaning function, really spectacular, isn't it? But static here now, yeah, look at that. What a mess. But look at that, in the rear, it's actually even more spectacular. And yeah, once again, you should only do that when the car is already dirty overall.
Thomas asked me to step out from behind the camera just to tell you a couple of things I really like and maybe a couple of things I don't like quite so much about this car. So we have to start at the front and talk about this. Well, according to BMW, they need this much real estate to cram in all of the sensors and, what I don't think the camera can quite pick up, these heating elements here and here, which make sure that the car functions properly in colder temperatures. Well, you know what, guys? No other manufacturer seems to need quite this much room, and to my way of looking at it, it kind of looks a little bit like an afterthought, something that they put onto the front of the car while they were waiting to figure out what they were going to do, but didn't quite get round to. But that's just my personal taste. And it wouldn't stop me from appreciating the rest of the design. As you come round to the side and the rear of the car, everything really works for me an awful lot better.
To open the vehicle, either use the key fob, which has these special colors here for the M60, or use the smartphone with the app. That's both possible, but I'm clearly Team key fob. What about you? And I'm definitely also Team Titan Bronze. This is special and looks cool because the shadow line then with the black accentuations you can get for so many different vehicles. So are you Team Shadow Line or Team Titan Bronze? Tell me in the comments. Door closing sound, frameless doors, yeah, and that's also the reason it sounds really weird when closing it. However, we have cool interior materials. This is all animal-free Sensatec right here, and it's really soft and feels great. So everyone that is telling us, you can't make animal-free, great, high-class interior, it's not true. You can do it. BMW shows it right here. Interesting, by the way, that these crystalline applications right here, these are optional. And you can also get them rather plain. And I would also take the base, the plain option for that, because these here, they look cool, but they do have some blinding effect in sunlight. Seating choice, today we have the beige Sensatec. It looks great and it feels great, and also has the perforation for a better climate comfort, so especially in summertime. I would actually go for these here indeed. They're also available in black or in brown, that's possible. And then you also have a fabric microfiber wool share mix available and 2 animal skin options, sadly still, but these here are definitely way to go. Seating position, high, upright, command driving position here in the SUV, and with 1.89 meters or 6'2". Yes, if you haven't heard, I have grown a little bit, obviously. Here, still some headroom left, although this is also the one with the panoramic roof. However, well, it's a fixed one in this case, so it does not cost you headroom. This is the thing then with the fixed glass roofs. They don't cost you headroom, but then you also can't open them. Steering wheel up and down, electronic way, and also in and out. And these seats are really very comfortable indeed. Interior overview, really clean. Soft touch leatherette Sensatec dashboard. It's really cool, and you have this floating display, a little bit curved, 14.9 inch on the right, 12.3 inch on the left. This is standard. The steering wheel has this strange form. It looks cool, but is it better to handle? Definitely no. I would just prefer a normal form of that one. But here once again the cool, like these golden accentuations, and still a mix of, you know, some real buttons at least. The middle console is also worth taking a look at, and soon more to the screens. In the digital instruments, you now have special iconic sound design here. Ooh, it's more bass intensive. I think it sounds way better than normal iconic sound startup. Yeah. Awesome, stronger. Then you have here the left side speed, right side is also this, this is e-power meter, but you can also change the views a little bit. For example, here you have the layout and change the whole layout with that. Yeah, I mean, you basically once set your favorite thing and that's kind of it. And you can also have this map integration. And look at that, if you have CarPlay and the Maps app, then it can also be displayed here in the digital instruments. That's a helpful feature. However, it does only work with the Apple Maps app, not with Google Maps, at least on the Apple. And here we can see it in Android Auto. It does work with Google Maps here on the instruments. So that's the difference. Interesting. Why is that so? Infotainment, BMW OS8, and everything looks cool, but I think still it's harder to use than OS 7. It has more functions, but also it's more complicated than. Here the climate unit is integrated right here. They want you to use like the voice control and then change it. That's possible. Set temperature to 23 degrees.
I will set the temperature.
Yeah, there we go. So that works, but I just prefer to use manual knobs so that at least it always stays in this position. On the left side you have these hotkeys. That's somewhat okay. Therefore you can also, for example, hop to the GPS map. But then here, there's like an overflow, you know, so many different things you can actually do here. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay is standard actually, if they can supply that at this moment. You maybe heard that with newer software versions, they're waiting on an upgrade for that. But here with this vehicle, no problem. Integration really big. Here we have these 13 speakers, 4D Bowers & Wilkins sound system, and it's indeed a great sound, really lovely. However, I think the Harman Kardon system more fits to BMW from the sound experience, and it's also less expensive. At the same time, also delivers a great sound. So overall, yes, it does the job. You see, it's also very responsive. It's fast enough. Here, let's take a look at the car internal GPS. Here it takes something low. This is the new airport here close to Berlin. So overall, I'm okay with the software, but I still prefer the old school BMW OS8. Is it just me? Tell me in the comments. And here we can see these augmented reality arrows. When we have a route set, then the camera image is there from the rear or front view, in this case front view camera. Then we have these arrows here guiding us alongside, and this is a very helpful feature indeed. Then it switches back to the normal GPS. Look at the lower right part there. This says adaptive driving mode. So when there's no car in front of me, by the way, the flashing light is from the IR light. Here, I'm just rolling when there's no car in front of me when I lift my foot off the throttle. However, now I'm getting closer towards the vehicle, and when I now lift my foot off the throttle, the car does do recuperation. That's the adaptive recuperation driving mode. That's really cool. I recommend the setting. However, we can also do the B mode. That's the B mode then, and in the B mode, when I lift my foot off the throttle, then it does immediate recuperation. That is then a one pedal driving. So you can do one pedal driving if you like, but I would recommend the adaptive recuperation. It's the best of both worlds. And we have the head-up display is a nice option, and here you can see when you have the GPS set, then it also shows these complex map images when you're about to cross an intersection. Here, this middle console floating, we have a nice wooden element. This combination is only possible done with the crystalline stuff here. And once again, it looks cool, but it does have some glaring effects, so I would rather keep the base version. This is the shifting lever, backwards then for the drive mode, or B, the stronger recuperation mode. But they also have adaptive recuperation then, which is a good choice, more when driving. You can put smartphone right here, for example, that's possible. But actually, for charging, you put it underneath. And here underneath you have the inductive charging pad, and when you lift it up you can see these are small holes that suck away the air so that the smartphone does not overheat. And in front of the cup holders you can see there's like this open area in the front. That's nice. Both Brian and me really like that. It creates a nice open atmosphere in the vehicle. Nice soft armrest, split opening, and actually decent decent space underneath. Well, it does have space and speed indeed. And I really do appreciate that we still have a manual button for the glove box. This is our allowance here to park at the airport. But here, this is really cool because, I mean, it looks standard, but some new EVs, they just have it in the, in the display. I really want to open it in an easy way. What about you?
In the rear area, it's also fairly comfortable and also a lot of legroom left. They're really using that EV platform. Headroom, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of headroom. And here you can also look through that panoramic roof, which has this electrochromatic function if you go for that one. It's, of course, always a spectacular effect to close it off or open it, so to speak. In this way, yeah, you can move around freely here. Also in the middle part, you can easily house 5 tall adults here. Here's a little bit stiffer on that one, but, you know, some like it a little bit stiffer. Yeah, and then let's move down this one here. And here we have cup holders which fold out like this in the front, and everything once again also in the rear from this Sensatec material, really great quality. In the middle part we have a console here, and there we still have manual climate unit. Maybe I want to be a rear passenger here today. 500 liters up to 1,750 liters, great folding mechanism. The normal length is 1 meter or 40 inches, and the same goes for the width, very well usable. And when I take out the backpack here in the very front, you have storage for your charging cable. And here, look at that. clicking sound here when you close it. These are beautiful details indeed, and the absolute length here for the trunk to the seats as we would be driving, this is enormous. So yeah, I know. And then 1.90 meters and 74 inches. And here I can easily stand underneath it, so it's yeah, pretty large opening. It's cool. And you can see here the hazard lights when you have that hatch opened. There's like the replacement hazard lights. Really interesting. But let's take a look at the real one, the proper ones. Oh, child safety test. Great. This was really good. So yeah, our children are safe there in this case, and cats, of course. And here, when we close the hatch, let's take a look. Here, these then are the normal hazard lights or the normal turning indicators. And that's how the turning indicators look like in the front.
So far, so good. Thomas and I are broadly speaking in agreement, but here is where we diverge. I really like this steering wheel. I think for a new bold design, you need a new bold wheel. And I appreciate the fact that BMW haven't just gone with the same old, same old. It looks great, it's modern, but you know what? It's actually really fun and effective to use too. So that's a big hit for me. As is, again, controversially for Thomas, this driver display screen. It's clean, it's uncluttered, it's stylish, it's modern, and there's not too much of it. Thank you so much for not giving me 9 screens I don't need and only giving me exactly what I do. On which subject, let's get on to something that nobody needs but is super awesome anyway. And that's this roof. Look at that. Nobody needs that, but who cares? It's so much fun. It'll keep your children entertained for days, and it really suits this car. So I got a feature on a negative to end with. Crystal knobs. Come on, guys. That's been done. It's been tried. It kind of looks a little bit tacky, but more important than that, as Thomas did mention in his previous review, they do genuinely blind you when the sun hits you. And that, for me, is a bit of a miss.
Welcome to Thomas's active driving lounge with the BMW iX M60, and what you see here in the front, that there is the new Tesla factory Berlin Giga, Berlin Brandenburg, Grünheide. So, and we are here with the BMW Performance SUV. Isn't that a great occasion? And here we can also test the famous new launch control we put here in the sports mode. Changes the sound setting, hitting the brakes with the left foot, and now the acceleration pedal with the right foot here on that empty parking lot. Launching towards Tesla now. Who wins it, BMW or Tesla? Let's see. Woo! So that was 0 to 70. Interesting. I mean, this parking lot is not too long. However, then I don't have to do it on public roads. And yeah, and of course I just want to be close to Tesla for that one. It's interesting, right? So 0 to 70, and of course then also hard on the brakes. One more time, guys. Listen to the sound. Woo! And did you see it on camera? This car is literally shaking. It has like a hardware shake. Oh, there's like a lot of dust rolling there. It's really shaking in the launch control. That's the new thing. You know, like here. Here, like you feel it, Brian? We're like really shaking. The camera, you can see the camera shaking. It's going further. Then it's stopping. Hey, what about that, Hans? So Hans Zimmer designed that. You know, why did you stop it? Yeah, probably the owner wants to keep up the shaking for some period of time. This is nuts. And actually what we can also show you on this parking lot is actually here. Look at that. This is like the rear axle steering, and also in that sports mode we have more loose electronic stability control. You heard that tire screaming. So I can really put that car around. Wow, and I have the EC all the way on. It's still getting somewhat loose. Wow, this is really amazing. Whew. So yeah, that is a difference to the normal xDrive 50. Yeah, it does give you some extra boost. It's 1,100 Newton meters of torque, and wow, yeah, the air suspension is indeed tuned to a stiffer level. And yeah, that's all the Tesla workers going home now. They might wonder, like, what is this guy doing there with the new BMW Performance SUV? And might we build something better? Or is this one actually better? Yeah. Whoa, yeah, so that's the difference here in the M60 version. I mean, from the outside, you might not expect that it is so different, but Whoa. Yeah, I mean, the sound experience has also been enhanced. It has this more sonorous, low frequency sound. And here actually, I mean, I did think about the location here a little bit, because now we're getting onto the German Autobahn, the German motorway. And this will be a part actually where we can also drive unlimited speed. And you know, this one does have a speed unlock. I'm not sure how fast we can actually go. It also depends on the traffic always, you know, a little bit. But yeah, let's just see how it goes. Whew, yeah, that was already something. Good that we found this empty parking lot there. And yeah, once again, greetings to all the Tesla workers, putting up a show for them. So we're still in the sport mode. You see here this screen also stays. That's a thing when you're using the GPS, it does never switch back. That's a little bit weird, isn't it? And now we are starting at about 70 kilometers an hour. And at the moment we can't launch it yet. Just first see that we safely get on the motorway. Brian, can you check the action cam like here with the display? Are we seeing the speed on the small? Are viewers seeing the speed actually, like in the lower left part? Are we seeing the speed? Or is it better this way, right? Like when we have the central speed better here like this, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that's better.
My aged eyes are not capable of focusing on such a thing.
Anyways, let's now accelerate from 110 kilometers an hour. Let's do it through. ...200 kilometers an hour, 125 miles an hour, and we go further, and now we keep distance to the car in front of you. Safety first here, wow. But I mean, even if we are here at speed, there's still acceleration going. That's amazing. Wow. And also that stiffer air suspension. I mean, it's an SUV, it's a huge car, but it stays upright very much. The steering is to me a little bit maybe too artificial when I'm here on the lane change. I don't have the best feeling for it. Yet at the same time, what is really cool that it stays rather upright. So that stiffened up of the air suspension is doing a good job, and it has really great handling. For a car of that size and that weight in this segment here, it drives really awesome. That is amazing. And you may also notice that, maybe covered here a little bit by that sporty sound design, when we were driving at high speeds. Wind noise wise, it was perfectly silent. This is one of the best insulated vehicles I have driven. It's really very silent here on the motorway at high speeds. That's really very, very well done. Good traveling comfort also in these Sensatec seats, soft and upright seating position. So you can drive it in a performance way, but at the same time you can also use it as a cruise vehicle or performance vehicle once again. Launching it through. Wow. Now we're at 220, closing top speed, and wow. This is now 250 kilometers an hour, 155 miles an hour, top speed. Now it's getting loud, but wow. That is really getting up to speed, and we perfectly use this part of unlimited speed. Now hard on the brakes, but wow, we have so much energy running with that, but the brakes, we're doing a great job. So you feel that, you know, from an engineering standpoint here, this is an awesome piece of metal, or aluminum and carbon fiber. In this case then, yeah, this is really something, you know, we have tested a lot of different vehicles now from also new electric vehicle manufacturers, and they do better software, yes. But here with this vehicle explicitly, you're the native speaker, was it? Okay, thank you. You feel that all the experience from the engineering does pay off. So yes, the user interface could be a little bit more refined, and I can use an, you know, like a Alcantara steering wheel or something, but wow, this is an awesome piece of hardware. And looking from the exterior and the interior, we thought like, there's not a big difference to the normal xDrive 50, but now driving it, yes, it's not a completely different vehicle, but you definitely feel more difference here now, xDrive 50 to the M60, than you would expect by the minor exterior and interior differences. And that to me is a very interesting finding. At all times, you can use the My Modes driving selection. Here, go back to personal. This is then the normal driving mode. You can also have individual settings, and then everything is rather calm. Cruise control is set here on the left side of the steering wheel. You can also pick different modes, whatever you want to, for example, the assisted driving mode. Then we'll have also active lane keeping assist, for example. Let's see how intrusive that is. Smooth reaction here, keeping us central in the lane. All the assistance systems are working really flawlessly. We also have blind spot monitors right and left. There will be like this flashing triangle. So assistance systems wise, everything also top notch indeed. Yeah, one of the initial question was, is it the best performance EV SUV? Performance EV SUV or performance electric performance SUV? And at this point, I mean, we haven't driven the EQS SUV yet, but I have to say, at this point, I really have to say, kinda is, you know. You know what my point was already with the last review. In general, iX with iX3. As for price performance, I would still prefer the iX3 because it has easier user interface, has less price, and it's just, you know, still great to handle. This one, of course, with a dedicated EV platform, more efficient and so on. But still, I would rather pick an iX3 for better price performance. But if money does not play a role and you want great performance and you're okay with the infotainment and the digital units here, yeah, then this is here one of the best high price luxury choices. Yeah, I can really say no doubt. What about you, Brian? 2 thumbs up from Brian. Brian seems to be impressed, and he just returned from the Lucid Air review. You can check out that one. Have you seen the Lucid Air review of Brian? Check it out. And then, of course, my xDrive 50 review of the iX, if you maybe don't want to spend so much money, but still interested in the iX.